Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian and I'm going to be doing the Rosenberg Self-Esteem scale. Bit of a background on the inventor. His name was Morris Rosenberg. He was born in New York City in 1922. He studied at Columbia University. He taught for a very long time at Maryland College. And he was a very famous sociologist that made lots of contributions to the field. He invented the Rosenberg self-esteem scale in 1965. It's what's called a Likert scale, or it is scored as a Likert scale. It has 10 different items and it has 4-point measuring system. So 4 responses to each of the 10 items, which can be strongly agree, and then disagree and strongly disagree. So it does not have a neutral option. There have been lots of different versions or revisions of this scale that have been used in different studies to analyze different populations more specifically. And as of ages and populations that this scale can relate to, it has been shown to have somewhat consistency among different cultures, despite sex and gender. And it's mostly effective for people ages 12 and up. So once we start getting below the ages of 12, it's not as solidified, or the literature hasn't really solidified that. You can strongly assume someone's self-esteem using this scale. Okay, strength of the scale. Self-esteem is a pretty powerful measurement once it comes to mental illness, in the sense that if someone has very good self-esteem, they're likely to be much more socially likable, have better social skills, view themselves better, which is very tied in with depression. So if you can get a pretty general idea of where their self-esteem is, you can make somewhat general assumptions about how they are or the status of their mental health. Another benefit of the scale is that it's rather general, which can be a drawback or a benefit. So it can be applied in many different cultures and settings. This scale has been translated into about 50 plus different languages, and it's been used all the way from Europe to South Africa and Asia. So it's been very famous and used all over the place. But then again, it's pretty old. It was created in 1965. There are some studies that have shown people with intellectual disabilities were able to use the scale well, and that people of old age were also able to make sense of the questions and get some reasonable results on the scale. And it has an internal consistency factor of 0.77, which is pretty good. Okay, on to the drawbacks. The first drawback is that it only has 4 answers to each question. It does not have 5, in the sense that it doesn't have a neutral option. This can limit researchers from being able to more accurately define someone's self-esteem. The second major drawback would be that self-esteem can be somewhat subjective, and especially cross-culturally. So how people view self-esteem in Eastern Africa is going to be different than how they view it in Sweden. So once you're using this scale and you're studying in different settings with different people groups and people in different life stages, you have to adjust for all those factors. Very general questions aren't really going to get the job done. And that's what's been seen, or that's what I've read in a lot of these studies so far, that they don't really use the base model. What they do is they take the base model and they make all sorts of different versions of it and kind of manipulate the questions to try to get a more accurate picture of what they're trying to study. And my improvements and suggestions for the scale would be to update most of the items. It was invented in 1965, so there's been lots of social science research that has come out since then, and our understanding of mental illness and things such as self-esteem has drastically improved. So it would be very good, I think, to update much of the items. The second major improvement I would make is to add a neutral option to the 4-point rating scale. This would better help kind of identify or allow for a better numerical analysis, so you have an extra point of measurement. And besides that, this is mainly just functioned as a general model, and because self-esteem you can't make many assumptions about self-esteem. That's why a lot of sociology has used this rather than psychology itself. And that is basically about it. Thank you.